oh maybe, you like my easy smile. And maybe, oh maybe, you'll stop for a little while. And maybe, oh maybe, I'll ask if you like tea. And maybe, oh maybe, you'll have a cup with me. And maybe we don't, and decide to take a walk. And you and I will ponder as we wander, as we walk.
Welcome to Ponder While We Wander. We're two friends who happen to be therapists go on a walk as we discuss relationships, nature, and meet life in the moment. Each episode is grounded in some aspect of eco-psychology, but can take us anywhere as we ponder while we wander. And you're invited to come along.
And you and I will ponder as we wander, as we walk.
Hello, Amber.
Hi, Natasha.
Hi.
I'm excited to be here today with you.
I am. This one, we have a lot to talk about. So hopefully we can get through it.
Yeah, we're gonna try. Today we are at the Dungeness River in Sequim, Washington. And these are the ancestral and traditional lands of the Jamestown Sequim tribe, or Strong people.
Yes. And it's a cool day, but it's not as cold as we have had in the past.
True.
We have we've got the river flowing. We've got some seagulls here because we are kind of close to
the ocean.
We got little puddles. I'm happy to see that you brought your shoes. We
brought my shoes.
Are in hiking boots because it is wet and a little muddy and stuff out here. There's little water striders on the water there, moving around on the tension of the water. They're really cool.
Lots of river rocks and leaves.
River rocks. I don't know if there's an actual little trail here, but I think we'll just wind our way through.
Yeah, we'll wiggle our way through. I think there is some little trail up there that we can
see a way to go. I see things that look like small puddles, but I think they're kind of big.
It's deeper than it looks. Yeah. Let's go around. Let's go around.
It's deeper than it looks. And today we are talking about grounding and earthing, and we've kind of put these together. And we'll talk a little bit more about what that is and why that is in a moment. But I thought it would be interesting to talk about this subject. You and I both practice. Our psychotherapy practices are kind of grounded in some of this stuff. And I know that that's another puddle.
It keeps looking like a way across, and then you get there, and it's a little deep.
We could go across that log.
Behind the log, there's a little mound we can step on here.
Over some roots and crossing some water. You and I, yes, we practice in this stuff in our professional lives, but also in our personal lives.
Definitely.
And I thought it would be great. We thought it would be great to talk about this because these kind of ways of being, you just did like a matrix move around this little, what is it, like a little caterpillar or something hanging off of a strand?
Just dodged
it. Good. That would have been like right in your eyes.
It would have. I'm not.
Okay, we're off to a good
here
start.
For that level of earthing.
Yes, because grounding techniques and ways of looking at the stuff and understanding it give us a better understanding of what is going on in our own systems at times. And then it also helps us with being able to problem solve, helps us with coping and generally metabolizing the stressors of life. And boy, do we have a lot of stressors in life these days.
That is true.
Yeah. And also, in order to have good relationships, really strong relationships, we need to be in a grounded, bodied state. And we're all about relationships here,
We sure
whether it be
are.
with people or other than human nature. So let's get into it.
Let's do it. We, in this realm of what we're talking about today too, there's kind of these terms that we use in therapy versus like a top-down or a bottom-up approach. I was wondering if you wanted to share a little bit more about the difference between those two
A
things.
top-down and a bottom-up approach, yes. So top-down is kind of what we've thought about traditionally in terms of psychotherapy or, discourse problem solving, which is thinking about things and trying to think our way out of situations and problems and issues. So we talk about that as one way of doing that. But what we realized is sometimes that needs some help. Sometimes we cannot be in our grounded mind and do that kind of problem solving if our bodies are being activated, if our nervous systems are activated. The part of our brain, if you touch the middle of your forehead, the part of your brain that's right in the back of that space where you just touched is called the prefrontal cortex. And when our bodies get flooded with I just sank a little bit in the ground there. With like cortisol.
Thanks for the heads up.
And other stress hormones, that system tends to go offline, and we're not kind of thinking from our prefrontal cortex, which allows us to think and problem solve and feel all at the same time.
Right.
So the way that we would manage that is not from thinking our way out of that situation, but rather from utilizing our own nervous system to ground, to get to a place of a more relaxed state in order for that part of your brain to come back online again so we can do some good problem solving. So we call that the bottom up kind of approach to these things.
I just have to say I'm being struck by these seagulls. Like they're basically river floating, like floating down the river.
I know.
Oh, and there's a crow.
It's really fun.
But it's really fun to watch them just kind of go for a river ride right now.
Yeah, they're just kind of floating down the river
And
here.
that guy's trying really hard to swim back upstream. So cute. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Top, down, bottom, up.
Yeah. And traditionally in our psychotherapy practices, since psychotherapy started, we have been more kind of top down, trying to think our way out of things. Oh, that's what I'm smelling. There's some dead fish right there.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Probably spawning.
Yeah, that
'cause they look like a
That's why the seagulls are here
salmon.
too. Oh.
Interesting. Okay. So this kind of way of thinking is not necessarily unique, because I think we have also done the psychotherapy thing, and we've done healing in groups and in relationships for a long time. And we know that it's healing, and we know that that's important. But we are giving it names now and recognizing it as important and going from there. So this is not something, cutting edge and new. It's something that we already knew about, and now we're applying it. We're being maybe even more intentional with it.
Yeah. And, when we're talking about this, bottom-up approach, we also have another term that we like to use around the window of tolerance. We think about that of like too much, too little. What's the frame? If you think of a window pane or window frame, really, it's like, where are we in relation to how distressing or how maybe overloaded or overwhelmed we might feel by the things we're exploring or talking about, or where do we get really, really low in our energy and we might need to bump a little more activation into. our nervous system. So we frame it in terms of that too, of like, really the sweet spot for any of this kind of exploration is like, how do we try to stay within this window of tolerance? And the grounding can support us in that, and earthing can support us in that.
Yeah. I find that the model of a window of tolerance, and like you said, if you can imagine a window and then above the window and below the window, there are spaces. And I tend to find that it's important to know if our body is reacting in a way that is above the window or below that window. And we could talk about that pretty briefly here in terms of how our bodies get activated, because you're going to do different things depending on whether your body is activated above or below that window of tolerance.
Yeah, and this activation piece that we're talking about, right, is also part of our like autonomic nervous system. We have our sympathetic nervous system, which might be more of our like fight or flight, where you might notice things like elevated heart rate, your dilated pupils, your lungs start to relax so you can take in more oxygen, your digestion slows, like these kind of fight or flight responses, which would be above the window type responses. Right? And then we think about our parasympathetic nervous system, which works in conjunction with our sympathetic. And parasympathetic is more this like rest and digest kind of idea, where we're kind of counteracting some of our sympathetic nervous system responses, which are like automatic, right? They just like happen in response to our environment.
Right.
So the parasympathetic, right, we're looking at like how are we slowing our heart rate, helps stimulate our digestion, supports our immune function. Our pupils might constrict a little, bring things into close focus. So these are kind of terms and ideas that go with this idea of earthing, grounding, window of tolerance, why we're looking at our automatic nervous system responses.
The autonomic part, it means that these things are just going to happen whether we're aware of it or not a lot of times. But then we can also have some influence on it if we notice that we are in a state of being. So, this is all top-down information. This is all we're talking about this stuff right now. We're going to switch into a couple different modes throughout this episode where we give you a chance to maybe experience this from the bottom up. And so some of this stuff, if it's not making sense, we'll definitely put links in there. But if you aren't getting it top down because, this is all coming in information this way, it's okay. It's okay that you don't get it in that same way. Maybe some of the other things that we do today will help with understanding what this stuff is all about.
For sure.
You and I were talking about, that window of tolerance. And sometimes we find that our window of tolerance, our ability to stay grounded and to stay in kind of that more rest and digest state. Sometimes for some of us, it's harder to stay there because that window is really small. And so these grounding techniques, if they're done on a regular basis and they are part of building a practice around them, can actually help you expand that window and help us not only notice when we're reacting to situations, but instead of just reacting, we can learn how to respond to different situations. So going from just reacting to responding. So let's see, we were going to talk a little bit about the vagal nerve. Did you want to talk about that? The vagal nerve, it's like our largest and it's the most significant part of our parasympathetic nervous system. It runs from our brainstem, our heart and liver, and all the way into our digestive organs. And I think what's really cool about the vagal nerve is through our breath, like some of these like really deep belly breathing, we call it belly breathing, you're really sticking your
bellies far out, full of air as you can, like we can kind of begin to access the vagal nerve and start to begin to maybe slow down an automatic nervous system response. It's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. And we can take some of these grounding exercises out into nature. And when we do some of that stuff, we talk about it as earthing.
Yes, earthing, which I think is pretty cool. And there's some, it's a type of grounding. And there are some people sort of, doing some studies and the science around the benefits of it. We can put more of the detail in some of the show notes, but kind of the basic premise is there's like an electron transfer that's happening when we are like skin to earth contact with our feet on the ground, our bare feet in the soil, or our hands in the garden, or swimming in a body of water, somewhere where you're actually having, your skin is having physical contact with the natural environment. And I think maybe kind of an interesting way to think about it is, in all of our homes or businesses or structures, we have, these electric grounding rods. It's like part of electrical code. I'm renovating my house right now, so I'm getting to see like a lot of these things are behind the wall that I never thought about before. But, it's like there's an electrical charge or lightning hits your house or something. It's a place that it collects, like this grounding rod, like collects that energy. It goes and it sends it straight down to the earth so that it sort of discharges that electrical current. And so I like to think of earthing in that similar way, like whatever energy might be snapping through our body or nervous system, or, the symptoms of that, maybe heart racing or sweaty palms or whatever we start to kind of notice there's a lot of energy within our body. Earthing can be a way that we kind of imagine that energy and how do we sort of collect that and send it to the earth and ground into there, that sort of exchange of energy.
We've also talked about this in terms of metaphors and being able to kind of visualize that energy moving, especially around something like grief and loss when it is so big and it's really activating for the body, right? Being able to imagine transferring that energy into the earth, into this big, huge, massive being.
Vast and endless.
Yes,
sort of
this
container
of ground and rock, and where we're standing there's river and animals and trees, and all the ways that we can kind of shift and change and give that back to something bigger than ourselves.
And we have examples of what that even looks like in nature when we think about the earth being able to decompose, and fungus and mushrooms and like all of this, like turning one thing into another, or this exchange, or the trees taking in the carbon and giving us back oxygen. Like there's some images and things that nature does already that I think can help us kind of tap into this imaginal exchange. The way that Earth does that already.
So we want to turn a little bit into something experiential, and I'm going to walk us through something that you can do right in this moment. And if you're in your car, obviously, you're not going to want to do this necessarily the way that we're doing this right now. But if you're in a place where you can get to a place of quiet, look! In the middle there, those are all the salmon going upstream.
Oh my God.
That's exactly what's going on.
It's not a shadow.
Like, what is going on?
They're swimming up.
Oh my God.
That is so cool.
I've never seen this in like the wild. I've seen like the ladders and stuff, but it is salmon spawning season, and the salmon are going up the river to go spawn, and we are witnessing a school of them go by us right now. Very cool.
Amazing.
Okay, well, that was exciting, you guys. Okay, let's come back to this.
Okay.
Pause for nature. Okay. So that this is exactly what we're going to do. If you are in a space right now to do this, do it with us. You could always pause this, come back to it later, whatever. Be safe around it. You know what to do. So the first thing we're going to do is just kind of come into your body. And I'm going to say that most of us can do this without it feeling overwhelming. But some of us, if you've experienced some kind of overwhelm in your life or what we would call trauma, and you are not used to being in your physical body, these experiences might feel a little overwhelming to you. And know that that's just part of this process, and that you have a choice. You have a choice to do this. You have a choice not to do this. Some people like to do a little bit of a modification here, which is if you are doing any kind of visualization or anything, you want to keep your eyes open and attuned to what's around you. And if you notice any sensations that are coming up for you, just kind of noticing them and not assigning a good or bad label to it, just noticing maybe what the actual physical sensation is to it. So that is your choice to do. And you can always skip past this and move forward, or just listen to my voice as we're doing this and not have to actually do anything with it. But you're here and you're willing to do that, so just take a moment to start kind of visualizing your whole body in the place where it's at and feeling where your body is connecting to the ground or to the furniture that you are sitting on or standing next to or walking on. And allow that attention now to come into your body. And you're just going to do a gentle scan from the top of your body down to your feet. And just noticing any areas that might be feeling uncomfortable or needing a little bit of extra support. You don't need to take very long, just kind of noticing from the top, going down to the bottom of your body, toward your feet. And then once you do that, we're going to tune into some senses here. You're going to look around you in the place that you are at and notice what you see. You can even name some things that you see, or colors that you see, or textures that you see. Just naming things around you using your sense of sight. And then next, you're going to go to your sense of sound. You can hear the sound of my voice. Maybe you're hearing some of the sounds in the background here. Maybe the sounds that are around you, farther away, or even close to you. And then next, see if you can tune into your sense of touch, where your body is touching something else, or maybe you have an item in front of you that you can pick up, that you can feel. And then maybe you can smell the air, see if there's any smells around you. You don't have to label them pleasant or unpleasant. You just need to be able to notice them. And then maybe your sense of taste. Maybe there's still a sense of something that you ate or drank earlier. And here you are, noticing that you are in your body now. And you're with us. And notice what that's like to be here, completely here and now.
Thank you, Natasha.
Well, we're doing this alongside of you. We've got other sights and smells and sounds and sensations. Yeah. All right. So we'll switch into that top down a little bit more. We're going to talk about the types of grounding.
There's so many.
There are. There are some categories to them, maybe. Yeah. There's some physical grounding. There's breath. grounding. There is interpersonal grounding, where it is really grounding to be with other people who are in their calm bodies. It can really help us get into our calm bodies. Yeah. Am I missing any of the other ones?
I should write these ones down off the top of my head. But sound, we've talked about that in terms of like music, being able to kind of ground through music.
So we can talk about the specifics. Music, I think, is one of my favorite ones. Nowadays, we have access to music on our smart devices, and I often think about that window of tolerance. Sometimes I need a playlist. I need songs that will push me up into my window of tolerance. So things like, a faster pace or something with a beat to it that is definitely
Hello.
Hello,
Seagull.
more stimulating. But then sometimes I need to if I'm above my window of tolerance, I need to bring myself back into it again and calm my nervous system. So I might need a soothing playlist for those times, something slower. Some slow jams for trying times.
Slow jams for trying times.
Yeah. And then, so those kind of things, but even sounds of nature or other kinds of sounds can be very grounding for us. We've talked about mindfulness. You were mentioning that a lot of times I think when we say mindfulness, people think of meditation.
Right.
And that is not always the crux of it. That mindfulness can be anytime we are in the present moment, non-judgmentally if we can, and just noticing. And it could be that we're sitting and we're doing some kind of sitting meditation, but we could also do that while walking.
Right.
We can do that while washing our hands or doing dishes. We can bring that present awareness. And
Cooking.
Cooking.
Lots of sensation or sensory inputs in there.
That gentle awareness, that allowing just to be there. So mindfulness is a way to bring that grounding in. We have using the senses, which we just did. And so being able to create some opportunities for us to be in our senses. And some people like some senses more than others.
True. We've talked about temperature changes. Like, sometimes we talk about
shifting our bodies with
temperature. Maybe cold water on the face, or stepping from inside to outside, or just kind of noticing how temperature impacts how we're feeling in our body.
Yeah, some people have used ice, putting ice on their wrist or holding it in the palm of their hand to help with that grounding, help shift the nervous system into that calm state. Putting a bag of frozen peas on the back of your neck has worked for some people. Those are the cold ones. For the warm ones, like a warm beverage, like tea, especially since that will stimulate that vagus nerve. I mean, ice cold water will do the same thing, but it might go, depends where you are in that window of tolerance.
Right. Yeah.
Heat pad, hand warmers. You know what does it for me is the car seat warmers. There's something about like a car seat warmer and like a gentle, like being the passenger with that, like puts me right to sleep.
Lulls you into
sure.
very calm state. We've also talked about some of the, in relation to the body, like pressure, or like giving yourself like a big hug, or
a self-hug.
The self-hug. Sometimes we talk about, some different techniques we use of like really squeezing your fist really tight and then like releasing it, and kind of noticing the different states of tension in the body and what each of those sensations are like.
pushing against a wall, like you're going to push the wall over, that builds up that kind of pressure and tension inside the body, and then let it go. Weighted blankets, those are helpful for some people. Also, a deep massage. Some people's bodies really respond to that, needing to feel that pressure from the outside.
Yeah. I mean, maybe this goes without saying, but being out in nature.
Being out in nature. What kinds of things would you do in nature to help you ground?
Well, I mean, for me, I love being near bodies of water. And the beach particularly, there's a lot of things that feel very soothing to my nervous system there. I mean, you get to watch waves kind of coming in and out. There's like a rhythmic kind of quality there that feels soothing to me. You get different types of deep pressure or, stabilization when you're maybe walking in the sand. Like it kind of brings different parts of the body online. You're putting forth different effort when you're walking in the sand.
There's some studies about the waves coming in ionizes the air at the ocean, and that has an impact on our nervous system and our bodies. That ionizing.
It's really cool. Yeah. Probably leans into some of the 5 senses grounding exercise you were doing. It's also for me when I'm out, I'm more focusing in on something close, like looking for a gem or a particular kind of rock or maybe a little crab that's wandering around. So it sort of brings, awareness into focus when I'm out in nature. And there's lots of different things that we can connect to or get or focus our attention on, or temperatures often changing. So, yeah. I know we said all of these we can do in nature, but even just in nature itself, if you arrive there can be lots of ways to connect in.
Yeah. Walking barefoot or laying down, like you said, kind of that skin to earth type of way of being. And then also movement, like we're doing right now. We're just standing here, but we're kind of swaying. Maybe it has to do with the breeze. Maybe it has to do with our... the way that our brains work and function. Dancing, stretching, shaking. Sometimes we feel really self-conscious about how we hold our bodies, and we don't allow ourselves to move in the ways that our bodies want to move. So being able to go in a place where we feel safe enough to shake our hands and shake it out, or that's why I think dance clubs turn the light down a little bit, so that part of ourselves, that self-consciousness. But dancing can be so grounding and helpful for our nervous system, as well as maybe just even jumping up and down sometimes.
Balancing one foot on the other. On one foot and then the other, or getting across a log, or yeah, definitely feeling those things out, what our bodies respond to. Here's one that I think a lot of therapists are known for these days. A lot of memes about this, but let's do some breathing exercises. But there's something to these breathing exercises. There really is.
What are some of your favorite breathing exercises, Amber?
Let's see. I use box breath often, which is sort of like thinking about your breath as a box. So whatever number you choose, a lot of times it's 4 or 5. You breathe in for 4 seconds, you hold for 4 seconds, you breathe out for 4 seconds, you hold for 4 seconds, and you kind of just go up, over, down, over, up, over, down, over. Whatever number works for you that day. One that I use probably more regularly for myself is I like ones where I take in a really big, full breath, as full as I can, and hold it for maybe longer than I normally would, maybe 6 to 8 seconds, and then very slowly breathe out. I find for me that kind of starts to connect to that vagus nerve that we've talked about that begins to kind of slow heart rate and fight or flight responses. But you had an addition to that one that I really liked.
Yeah, I do. A little bit of a modification where you take that deep breath in, and usually I like to place my hand on my belly so I know that I'm like getting my breath into that lower part of my lungs, taking a deep breath in, and then taking a second in breath, sometimes just getting a little bit more air in there, and then the long, slow breath out. Something about that modification has been really helpful for me, and I know there are other people who really like that breath as well. And then another, those tend to be ones that if we are kind of activated above our window of tolerance, if we have a lot of maybe anxiety or jitteriness going on, those tend to help us get down into our window of tolerance. But one that helps me get up into my window of tolerance, say I'm kind of sluggish and my brain's kind of, running a little slow there, I'm out of that window, I'll do something called circular breathing. And if you are a wind musician, if you play woodwinds or trumpet or anything like that, you probably already know circular breathing. But it is where you don't take you take an in-breath, you don't pause, you just go right into your out-breath, and you don't pause, you go right into your in-breath again. So circular in that way. Don't do it for very long because you can hyperventilate, but it is a good way to kind of get that energy up and going. Yeah. And then I think with any of this stuff, you can incorporate journaling into it. It's kind of that next step of processing, of being really present with the sensations. So it's another way to kind of add another layer to any of these exercises. You were going to lead us in.
Yeah. We're going to do maybe more what would be kind of an earthing type grounding exercise, but if you can do this outside, great, but you don't have to, because we're going to kind of access it imaginally, and all the same caveats that Natasha offered the first time. Obviously, if you're driving, pause or come back to this, or at any point it feels like too much and you want to open your eyes or stand up or shake your body or shift things around, whatever feels right and appropriate for you is welcome.
Is this a good space for you? Do you want to go to that log over there?
No, this is fine.
You're good? Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm kind of planted here.
Okay.
So this is what I might use if someone I'm with or myself, you might be feeling a lot of sort of energy or activation in your body. This is kind of going back to that example of the electrical current and finding this sort of grounding rod and sending some of that energy down into the earth. So just take a moment, and wherever you're at, maybe feet on the ground or sitting on the ground if that feels better for you, and just welcome into your breath. Just taking a moment just to check out your rate and pace of breathing in this moment. No need to change it. Just noticing. Then we're going to move our awareness just into our body, just to see what energy is there, how much energy is buzzing around your nervous system in this moment. What's it like to see it? What does it feel like? Does it have a color? Does it have a texture? Where is it? Is it in one particular place of your body? Is it kind of feeling like it's buzzing all around? And we're going to just be noticing that. Just noticing these different sensations that are present in your body in this moment. And then the invitation is to begin to imagine all of this humming energy slowly beginning to kind of flow towards the center of your body, more towards your core. We're slowly collecting it from all the different areas, maybe your fingers or your toes or your arms, wherever you're feeling it. We're inviting that energy to move towards the center of our body. And then we're going to begin to imagine that energy flowing down. It's flowing towards the center, And then it's flowing down, 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 down to your feet and out through your feet into the earth. Feeling that energy exchange of it collecting in your body towards the center, down and out through your feet into the earth, which is vast and large and wide and can hold and contain and metabolize all of the big energy that might be being felt in the body. So we just take a moment here to continue imagining that process of the energy collecting to the center, flowing down and out through the feet, and into the earth where it can be held. You can imagine it staying there, going deeper and deeper and deeper into the core of the earth and being able to be held and metabolized and contained there for us. So feel free to just take another breath or two, and then into wiggle your fingers and toes, and we're kind of coming back into this shared space with each other and just noticing, how did that feel for you? How is your body feeling in this moment? Does it feel like a lot of that energy maybe moved down? If there's still feeling like there's some buzzing, humming energy, this would be a place where you could bring on some of the other techniques we talked about, shaking it out a little bit, or, changing your position. Maybe you stand up if you were sitting, or shifting in temperature. Like, there can be ways that we can kind of continue to move that energy through the nervous system. But yeah, that's one that I like to do often. So I hope people enjoyed that. And if not, that's fine too. There's no right or wrong way, and there's no expectation that you're going to have no activation in your body, that there's zero activation. It's just kind of noticing how our system responds when we bring on some of these exercises and experiences to try.
That was nice. Yeah, for me, even just standing here, imagining that energy coming in, for me it was a kind of a pale yellow energy that kind of gathered and sent that down. And noticing that it just kind of keeps refilling. That that source, that it just kind of comes in from all directions. We're taking all that in.
Yeah.
Circulating movement.
Circulating and movement, yeah. I think that's what I really like about this particular one, is that idea of this movement. And I think you were talking about that with sometimes really big experiences of grief that feel so heavy that it's hard to move. So getting these small ways that we can begin to kind of imagine feelings, energy, emotions kind of moving through us little by little.
Yeah. And I think some of these things that we're talking about too, when we move them into ritual, when we move them with intention and make them a part of our lives, our everyday lives, I think that those can be really helpful ways of building a practice around grounding, metabolizing all that is happening in the world and in our communities and in our own bodies, and that we're here at the side of a river with all these rocks. I mean, you've seen kids run to the side of a river or any place where there's rocks and take a rock and throw it into the water. Like, even something as simple as taking a rock and really being present with it, feeling it, looking at it. Some people would taste it, but that's up to you. It's up to you. You can smell it.
Sense.
Yes, it's a sense. It's a sense.
Yeah.
You can hear what it's like to run your fingers over it, and then being able to maybe whisper an intention or a wish or something that maybe you want the river to hold, and then chuck it into the river.
Chuck it in.
Chuck it in.
Chuck it in, baby.
Throw it.
Yeah.
See where it goes.
Here it goes. Yeah, and I always like to remind people, both of the exercises that you and I did today, we're not sitting for hours. We're not sitting. It's minutes. It's moments. And I think we all kind of know what that experience is like when something is kind of like niggling at the back of our mind or humming a little bit around in our body, or like we're feeling, some kind of sensation. And, these practices are so helpful to utilize in those moments, right? We don't have to be at like a level 10 of feeling dysregulated or like way above our window. It's such a good practice to, like, if you notice something, anything, or even if there's not a lot of sensation in your body and you're like, I'm just practicing, moving my attention around with awareness, can just take a moment. You can just dip in for a minute, 30 seconds even sometimes, just to notice, how am I feeling in my body? Or what's it like to imagine this energy collecting and moving through my feet? So just to remind people, like, it doesn't have to be long. Let's start where we're at. Let's start small. Let's find the ways in of being present with ourselves and our experiences.
And these are the kinds of things when we, as therapists, or your own therapist, maybe suggesting to take a break from something in a moment when you're feeling overwhelmed, or when you're feeling like you're out of that window of tolerance, or you're feeling flooded, whatever the verbiage is, that these are the things that you can do to take a good break, to be able to remove yourself from a situation where your kids are driving you crazy and you just need a little bit of a break, or you're in a really heated discussion with somebody and you can feel yourself not being super present. We're only, we're clashing right now. Being able to pause and take a break, get grounded again, come back. It's good relationship, good relationship management. So as we move into the next portion, do you have any ponder points that you would like to leave with?
Yeah, I would say, can you get curious about or notice, like, what are your go-tos that you might be using already? Can we kind of just maybe we can name it and be like, oh yeah, I actually do some of those things already that Amber and Natasha were talking about. Or like, oh yeah, I do have this practice where I, drink my cup of tea or coffee very slowly and smell it and notice it. And so I think I'm asking people to ponder, like, what are you doing already? Can we look for it and see and maybe name it? And then the next part of that might be asking yourself, how consistent am I in some of these practices? Like, do I intentionally take these moments, or how's my consistency, knowing that that's going to help me, building that practice now is going to help me, if I have bigger things or more distressing things, or not always having to practice in the heat of the moment. So like, name your go-to and get curious about your consistency.
I love it. If you need permission to turn one of those things into a daily ritual, you have Natasha and Amber's stamp of approval.
Permission granted.
By the river here with the smelly fish. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's part of the metabolizing life cycle of the earth, right?
More.
There's so many. So cool.
Sorry. Yes. It's really interesting because you're seeing the kind of school of the salmon go up, and then every once in a while you see a dead one kind of float down. It is the cycle of life. It is. We're witnessing it in this river right
Absolutely.
here right now.
What about you, Natasha? Yes. Ponder point for you?
Thank you for getting me back on track. My ponder point is something that I like to put out there with people in general, but also clients, which is you can collect some items and put them together and take them around with you that we might call a grounding first aid kit. So you could turn like an empty Altoid tin or something like that, or a little bag that you might have into a little bit of a grounding kit. So you might have a few mints in there, something that would stimulate all of your senses. Maybe a beautiful picture that you stick to the lid on the inside. When you open it up, you see something that's inspiring or calming to you. You could put, some people like essential oils. So the calming ones are like lavender and
citrus sometimes, cinnamon.
Yeah, and sometimes to maybe get you more stimulated, if you're feeling kind of below that line, some mint or some rosemary even sometimes can smell like that. So putting together a little bit of a kit of your grounding first aid kit. What senses and what little things could you take with you and have with you? So it reminds you and supports you, and you can have it more.
Okay, I know.
So
We're gonna
I want to get more pictures of that. But before we go, I thank you for being here. And our next, you have 2 weeks to collect your grounding first aid kit, because we're going to talk about a subject, biophobias, where we're going to talk about, sometimes we kind of over romanticize nature and how wonderful it is, but it's not always, and a lot of people have barriers to that. So we'll talk about biophobias. You can bring your grounding first aid kit with you to that one.
Perfect.
Yeah, it'll be perfect. It's like we planned this.
Right. Well, until then, Natasha,
Wander well.